Right, good evening. I'm Neil, VK3BCU, and welcome to the Amateur TV Net, which is held every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Sorry about last week, we had a few technical difficulties with the repeater, but that's all been fixed up now, and Peter will probably give us an update very, very shortly. Stations that have logged in that are watching, that I know that are watching, Peter, VK3TLF, unfortunately he didn't have time to prepare anything this evening. Bob, VK3BVR. Mick, VK3CH, also having difficulties getting in today. Mark, VK3PI, welcome Mark. And Fred, VK3ZAQ, a very regular watcher. Thank you very much there, Fred. You can watch the repeater through VK3RTV, which is the preferred method, or through VK3VRS's YouTube feed, as Ian isn't available this evening. So please go onto YouTube, type in VK3VRS, and you should find the live feed. Also, Richard has the Discord feed, and Rob VK3IE has also got a feed on the BATC website. So go to the BATC website and type in VK3IE. So I see Peter's almost ready to go, so Peter will be up first. Peter will be putting it across to Richard, and then Richard, if you could put it back to me, please. So take it away, Peter. Everyone now, please switch to VK3RTV1, and Peter Cousins will be coming up very, very shortly. Take it.
Just the little red button is necessary. And we'll try again. Take two. Good evening, I'm Peter, VK3BFG. Sorry about that. Yeah, we had a minor problem last week, and that was the issue. It's a very nice splitter that John, VK3ATV, provided two of them, and currently we're splitting off the receivers and going directly to the BATC streamer. I note that RTV1 stream is not working, but that's a different issue. I suspect it's got all to do with HDMI problems, and I'm working on that solution for that as well. But to admit to, I was standing two legs up on the ladder, about to put that in, and I dropped it. So it went down about 8 foot straight down onto a concrete floor. So I picked it up, and I thought, well, yeah, I had a look inside. I thought, yeah, no, it's probably all right. So I put it in service, and it turned out to be a bit troublesome. So I've got it back here, John, and we'll certainly get it over to you sometime, and you can maybe have a look at it. It'll probably work under supervision, because it was working sort of. Well, it worked straight away, but then it was becoming intermittent and giving troubles. So that was the little bit of drama there, and basically caused by me. So apologies there to John. But yeah, it is a bit difficult. People say, why don't we do this and why don't we do the other thing? But when you're going up a ladder and you're leaning across and there's cables everywhere, it's not all that easy. Anyway, that was that one. I have a very nice modulator here, which is a DVS modulator. It's SR Systems, and it came out of the Eastern Baptist Radio Club transmitter. And David for VK3JDA has purchased this, including the very nice little front display that goes with it. So RS-232 port there, David, that goes onto the display, and video in there, and it'll give you low-level a modulated signal out, and I have tested it and it's working quite okay. So David has paid for it, and he paid for it a little while ago, like maybe a week or so, a week maybe, but I haven't heard from him, so he must be busy. But it's here waiting for you to pick up, David, so there it is. Got some bundles back here, but there's a big bundle which I picked up recently from Neil's daughter, and it's the bits and pieces for a Pico tuner. And I know Neil, 3BCU, has built one, or is not nearly built one. I know Rob, 3IE, has built one and it's going. And I'm waiting for printed circuit board and the tuner to come from BATC. It seems to be on a bit of a slow boat there. But thanks to Neil for the bits, and to Rob for actually organising a bit of a bulk purchase, which made things a bit easier. So that's great. We'll certainly build that. But I've got two other projects that probably have priority over that. And I had an email from Jim Klitzing today, W6PQL, and confirming that he's received the funds that I sent over, and the amplifier's coming back. In fact, it's brand new. New boards, new FET. The only thing that's ours really is the copper heat spreader. So that's very good. And I'm hopeful that might be the solution to your problem, Mick, and to others, particularly on RTV2. When the transmitter comes on, the receivers receive, and then they give the no signal report and bomb out. And watching up on the hill, I see the signal come in. It's decoded by the receivers, quite fine, pictures there. But as soon as the transmitter comes up, it knocks it out. So that didn't occur with the model transmitter that we're getting back from W6PQL. It's a different structure and a different FET for that matter. And in this particular case, it'll be in a different mechanical arrangement where there'll be a driver on a very large heatsink, which is just down there. I think I've shown that. And the final will also be in a die-cast box, so it'll be fairly well RF proof, and hopefully it won't be too much RF floating around very locally with that. So I've got my fingers crossed there, Mick, and for others that we might be able to get some sensitivity back on RTV2. So that's the second project that I'm working on. The third one is over here, which is VK3ER's transmitter, and obviously the equipment that I just showed was out of that, and they decided to go ports down because they wanted the ability to change frequencies over a range, change modes over a range, etc., and symbol rates and the flexibility, and also the fact that they're very much web-based in their operation, and the fact that we can talk to the ports down directly on a local network makes it pretty good. So we've got the very expensive Lime SDR. That was about $650 for that, and a very nice case for the Raspberry Pi 4. We'll just give you a quick look at it. It didn't cost very much, this one, in contrast to the case that's advertised for the Raspberry Pi. This is an aluminium case, and you can see it there. It's got a nice little dual fans on it, and there's a heatsink top and bottom, and you clamp the Raspberry Pi in between. So that's just waiting on some insulation, and you can see the Lime sitting there, and I'm just waiting on a box for that. They did have an aluminium box available, but it was $100 US, which you know, in contrast to that one, I think that was $15. So I just couldn't bring myself to spend that kind of money on a little weenie box. So 3OM at the Eastern Boundaries Radio Club is making that's what I get on 2 metres fairly frequently. He's making a box with a 3D printer, so hopefully I'll pick that one up on Thursday morning. So it's a work in progress. I had to pull the guts out of it, basically the encoder here, but it's got a Mitsubishi module there, sitting on a heatsink with fans underneath it, and that drives then a 60 watt module there. So that should be quite adequate for operation. So they're the things I've been working on. So that's about it for me tonight. We've got shaky cam, but never mind. So Richard, I hope you're streaming at the moment, and we should get a fairly smooth changeover. So VK3 VRS to take it. This is VK3 BFG. Over to you there, Richard. And sorry about the shaky cam.
Good evening. Nothing wrong with shaky cam, Pete. I think we've all got shaky cam, so we do that. Yeah, I haven't got a lot tonight, mainly because we're renovating the backyard and amongst other jobs, and yeah, I basically jumped off the excavator, wolfed down my dinner while I was trying to prepare things for, like, get things working and make sure that I could transmit and all that sort of stuff. And it looks like I'm transmitting okay tonight, so that's good. You will notice I do have the QR codes again, both sides. Let me line up this way. So this one here and this one here. So Discord here on this side and Facebook on that one. Feel free to join them. Currently, we don't have, well, my Discord dropped out. I've just put it back on, and I can see people joining now. And we currently have a few streaming on YouTube. Sorry, yeah, so there's 10 currently watching on YouTube and 3 on Discord. I think it is 2 or 3. 2 on Discord. So yeah, feel free, please join. Very easy to actually watch it. Actually seeing on the repeater, and I just dropped out. Ooh. My local was still transmitting, and still, yeah, local still going. Yep. All right. Well, that's not good. Anyway, I've got a quick video. It's a replay of one that we've seen many times. It's basically just for Phil, and come back and I'll just show you some of the things that's going on in the shack if you missed them. So I'll put this video on. Peter, you love this one. I'm sure it brings back memories. It was a good day this day.
at 10 p.m. Clint VK3 CSJ presents the Astronomical Society of Victoria broadcast on this amateur television repeater, VK3 RTV Channel 1.
And here we are back. Yes, so that one's for you, Peter. Can't remember if you've actually seen it in full, but there you go. That was a few years ago now. That was coming back from the Avalon Air Show. So the last Avalon Air Show. So I think we're due next year. Anyway, so what's been going on in the shack? Well, I'm going to go over to Shaky Cam now. So Shaky Cam. Yep, got audio. Radio. So that's my shack at the moment. So they're the radios that I'm currently using. Obviously transmitting on there. Got the trusty 905 set up, of course. Yeah. So my dilemma here is trying to get these guys.
We're only seeing you.
Oh, of course. You know why? Right, that's better. Shaky Cam radio. So they're the radios that I'm currently using. There's the trusty 905, of course. So my dilemma is at the moment, this is where my bulk of my radios normally sit, and I've got lots and lots of big thick cables coming down my wall now, and I can't put that plate back on the wall, so I've got to come up with a solution for that. You can see there that I've got some labels on there. So currently this is what I'm actually transmitting on at the moment, and they're more grid packs here, so that's what I'm planning on putting on. This spot here is for an antenna that just arrived today, actually, a dual band Yagi 2 and 70, and that was from Antenna Amplifier, and that's the X7000. And there's other ones as well. So that's what I'm currently using. So welcome. And I was talking about my backyard at the moment. There's my son and his friend. That was the excavator that I've been on. It's actually my son's excavator, and you can see he's still working, because I said I've got to come in and do this, and he goes, what? Why? Blah. Yeah, I got in trouble. But there you go. So there's some live action from security cameras. You can see it's live by the date. So that's what's happening out there at the moment. So that's what's going on. So that's taking up a fair bit of my time doing the backyard. So renovating there, and also trying to get some radio stuff done. Lots on my plate. And of course I've got other things like hobby show stuff and swap meets and all that sort of stuff. So I've actually got one coming up at the end of October, so yeah, busy with that as well. So yeah, that's all I've got. I'm not sure who I'm supposed to pass it over to, Neil. I'm assuming it's going to be you. I'm hoping I'll hear soon that it's you. It is you? Yep, excellent. And so I'll pass it back over to Neil. So when you guys are ready, just flick over. If you're watching live on air, flick over. And for all you guys that are on YouTube and Discord, which is now considerably a lot more. So Discord, still the same on YouTube, but we now got 3, 4, 5 on Discord. So, and yep, everyone's got their mic muted. So that's very important to have your mic muted when you're on Discord, because not last week but the week before we did have somebody on Discord who had their mic unmuted and we could hear everything that was going on. So yeah, please make sure that when you're in there, it's very easy to mute your mic if you're unsure. how to do it, just give us a hoy and we can show you how to do it. But yeah, so just waiting for you, Neil, to come up onto RTV2, and everyone. Then I'll send everyone to flick over, and I'll flick over everyone automatically. So be patient, and looking forward to Peter getting that the other amp going. So we're back to how we should be. And there's Neil. So that's all for me, folks. And as they.
Not sure whether you're listening, Richard, because you're still up on air. This way. Okay, Richard, yeah, so I've got one of those dual band Yargies, Richard, the amplifier antennas, and they work quite well, but they are very light in construction, as you probably found out already, and I find that the birds can bend the elements. At least one of my elements is bent due to a bird sitting on it, so just be aware of that. I've got a few things to show you today. I'll just have a drink of water because my mouth does get very dry doing this. Okay, I don't know whether anyone's built some of the mini kits amplifiers. Oh, wait, I've got to swap cameras, haven't I? Okay. I don't know whether anyone's built these mini kit amplifiers. That one's the Gully 74, using one of these little printed circuit boards. They're quite popular. I built quite a few, and I'm sure Peter's built quite a few, and I'm sure Peter would be very familiar with that little board. Now, this will cost you over $50 to build up. By the time you buy the die-cast box, the circuit board and the bits and pieces, that's going to cost you over $50. As it happens, AliExpress have a amplifier using a PGA 103, if I get that the right way, and I'll show you some photos in a minute. And that's, you can get that. That's not going to be in focus. There we go. That will cost you anywhere from $21 to about $25 from AliExpress. It's all built up, and it's got a PGA 103 in it. But what you can do, seeing the circuit is virtually identical to the mini kit circuit, is put your own chip in there, and you can build the whole range of mini kits amplifiers: the PGA 103, PHA 1, Gully 74, Gully 84, and the Gully 39. So I'm just going to swap across to some photos now, just to show you that, so it isn't quite so shaky. Oh, that's just changing topics. That Pico tuner that Peter was talking about, you'll need that to receive the narrowband 447 that we've been playing with. And Robert's got his going, and there he's receiving his own signal on the Pico tuner, and that's the circuit board, and that's available from the BATC, and it's basically, I think it runs from about 50 megs or 70 megs up to about 2 gigs. So it'll go right down to the very, very low symbol rates. I think Peter was going to talk about symbol rates one of the last week he was going to do it. Maybe he'll do it this week, and that's required for using it on the narrowband 447-333 that we've been using. It's another photo of Robert's Pico tuner, and that's a picture of that circuit board I told you about. Now, this is even better than the mini kits amplifier because it's on a nice board. It's got a lot of circuitry in it. It's got a protection diode there. It's got Schottky diodes on the input for protection, and it's quite elaborate the way they've done the circuit here. Bit of decoupling for the bias there, the mains voltage. So for about $21 to $25, absolute steal. Now, if you use that on 447, I'll just come back to this other camera, you probably need to put one of these SAW filters, wrong camera, get the right camera. One of these little SAW filters behind, on the back end of the PHA one, that's a SAW filter that's on 446, and I'll put that on an old circuit board. I think it was a breakout power divider before, and I've got one inside a lead. And the one I'm actually using in real life is actually built into the amplifier, actually mounted just in there, on one of the ones I'm actually using, so it's all inside. So what else have I been doing? I had an accident with my Pico tuner. There's my board, and I'm very embarrassed to say I had a big accident with that. Hopefully I will recover. And another thing I've been doing, almost got my Shari B-Star, All-Star going. I can talk to it, it can talk to me, but I can't talk to anyone else. So it's a Pi 4 with the Shari little transceiver there, so almost there. I think I've got to work out my port forwarding. So that's all I've got. I think I've covered all the bases. I think there are 8 watching on Robert VK3IE's BATC feed. There's probably more by now, so welcome everybody. And we're going to put it across to Joe, VK3TET. So you're ready to go, Joe. I'm on DVB-T, so it should be a very, very good cutover. So you take it, Joe, and then you'll be putting it back to me. So everyone stand by for Joe, VK3TET. Take it away, Joe.
Okay, here we go. A long time in the making, but this is a fantastic little device. It's an I got it quite a few years ago, and I have been using it on and off. Unfortunately, not in Australia at the moment. This is what you get in the box if you can get your hands on it. Basically, the user manual is online, little note. Packaging is, well, I suppose it's okay. AliExpress type thing, maybe better because it's got a cardboard box. So the device, the traditional MFJ build, it looks solid from the outside. A lot of dust on it, unfortunately, because I haven't had it. Well, it was out of the box. I just put it in. Anyway, construction's it's pretty good actually. It's very robust. Put it this way: you can drop it and you can kick it, and it'll still work. Took a licking, but it's still ticking. Inside, well, pretty not very complicated. It actually runs off an external battery or power supply, I should say. But I've put a battery on it. Just it's MFJ doesn't put the battery in there, but it comes with a battery circuit and terminals. So put it this way, you don't use it all the time, and with a battery it lasts for years basically, and it just frees up the sort of hard wire to the power supply. The good old 555 timer. Look, we'll go through the theory of the operation in a while, but it's a pretty basic circuit, and I've got a circuit diagram for you guys, but it's not exactly this one. MFJ, it may be similar, but it's not a reverse engineered MFJ one. Is it worth the, what did I pay? I paid about £110, which is about $200 or around that sort of money, $190 or something like that. Is it worth it? If you're in a hurry, you just want to plug it in and work, that's probably worth it. It's a great tool. I think every shack should have one of these noise bridges, and you'll see in a minute. But yeah, look, it works quite well. You power it on. It gives you some sort of a visual indication that it's working with the flashing LED. Got to be really careful with the power that you put through it. It's a serial connection. In other words, it goes between your transmitter or transceiver and the antenna tuner. It doesn't go on the outside of the amplifier. It goes before the amplifier. It basically is it's sort of like an SWR bridge. It's monitoring the impedance of your antenna or the load, and you'll see essentially it wants it to be 50 ohms. Anyway, I've just put a connector on it, and I'm hooking it up to the Hermes. Unfortunately, well, I'm not going to be transmitting, but for the sake of demonstration, we can actually tune it. So how does it work? Let's have a look. your first resource is Google. The theory of operation. Well, you can read it. Pause the video, and you'll see. Very, very simple. Uses noise bridge technology. There's quite a lot of information on the internet. I've just basically dug up a couple of papers, and you can come across those. You can probably see the references. You can probably find them yourself. But it will just give you a more in-depth information on the theory of it. I'm not going to go through it here. It's pointless. Yeah, it's very interesting. There is a paper that I found, and this particular guy, he actually goes through the whole process of construction. Like, he's got a circuit diagram there. He explains the testing, the components, etc. So if you're a constructor, it's all there. You can get yourself a noise bridge, probably for about $20 with all the components. So yeah, definitely worth doing if you're a tinkerer. So let's have a look. I actually found a paper online. It was a PDF thing, but I managed to sort of get say JPEGs of the pages, and I'm going to put it up here, and you guys can find it yourself if you need to, but you can pause the video and probably read the whole thing. Well, it's a bridge, basically, and what we do, we introduce noise, and essentially we can hear that noise, and it nulls the noise when we get 50 ohms in that bridge, which is the load. Very simple idea, and it works very well. So here's the actual theory of it, and well, this guy doesn't give you this PCB layouts, but he tells you how to build it if you want to. Pretty good paper. This was back in 1987, ages ago. But nevertheless, if you want to go through it, it'll give you the theory, it'll tell you how to construct it, etc., etc. So I think that's probably a good a start for guys that are interested in building it themselves. Okay, so now we're going to have a demo. It's hooked up to a Hermes light, and there is no antenna other than a little whip antenna, and you'll probably see that later on. I'm going to have a quick look at it, but yeah, look, there's not much in it, and it works very well. You just null it, there's no noise, and you can see the dip. So there we go. Enjoy. Hope you liked this video, and definitely a recommended device for your shack. Take care, guys. All the best.
Right, thanks for that, Joe. It was quite interesting. That's about it for this evening. Unfortunately, a few stations couldn't make it this evening for a number of reasons. Ian should be back on deck next week, so we all look forward to his quiz, which is very, very popular. So thanks everyone for watching. Next week, I imagine there'll be a few more stations because, as I said, a few stations had some technical difficulties this evening. So thanks for watching once again. All the people on YouTube and Discord and the BATC feed. See you all next week. Cheers.
I often browse YouTube and look at interesting AI news videos, and I came across this one. And the YouTuber, he's quite a popular YouTuber. He's got a big following, I think over 100,000 subscribers. And within a day, this particular clickbait video generated more than 100,000 views. Now, when you see a picture of Tim Cook and it says it's time for the truth, you sort of wonder what the hell is he talking about? Well, apparently Apple drops AI bombshell, LLMs cannot reason. And this YouTuber has a deep dive trying to sort of dramatize it a little bit. And he's really personally amazed at the findings that Apple found. And he thinks that, yeah, the whole thing is just a big scam. Like, you know, if models can't reason, what the hell's going on? Even OpenAI's latest model, the O1 model, is failing all these tests that Apple put it through. So let's listen to this paper, and I've done my own little testing, and you'll see when it comes up. I've got to generate the context for it, so that's why we'll have to listen to it for a while. But I'll break in there where appropriate.
Incredible research, and I think this has the AI community completely divided because it fundamentally shifts what we know with AI models, and I think this genuinely could change everything because of what this research is currently suggesting. So I'm going to break this all down for you because this is largely one of the biggest papers that have come out recently, and it's fundamentally quite surprising. So essentially, Apple Research has come out with this paper called GSM Symbolic: Understanding the Limitations of Mathematical Reasoning in Large Language Models. Okay, and basically the short summary of what this paper is suggesting is that it says that we hypothesize that current LLMs are not capable of genuine logical reasoning. So one of the things that we use to do to assess how models score on their reasoning, or essentially assess how smart these models are, is by doing certain benchmarks, okay? And one of those benchmarks is called the GSM 8K. This is called the Grade School Mathematics 8000, which is 8,000 grade school mathematics question. The Apple researcher says here that when OpenAI released GSM 8K 3 years ago, GPT-3, one of the first iterations of the GPT series models, scored 35% on the DSM 8K test. Today's models, with 3 billion parameters, are surpassing 85%, and the large ones are hitting 95%, okay? But he argues that has reasoning really improved? Like, how much of this is genuine logical / symbolical reasoning versus pattern recognition / inadvertent data contamination or overfitting? So basically, what he's stating is that, you know, if we look back to the smaller models like GPT-3, which were 175 billion parameters, scored 35%, okay? And today's smaller models, like the tiny models from today that are only 3 billion parameters, are surprisingly surpassing 85%, and even the larger ones are hitting 95%. But he's like, okay, we've made such incredible progress in such a short space of time, but we need to realize how much of this reasoning has actually improved, okay, versus data contamination, which basically means that the data that we use to actually train these models, you know, more parameters, more data, the data that we actually use, how much of this increase in percentage is actually related to data contamination, where unfortunately some of the data from the test sets and the answers have slipped in to the training data, so the model essentially remembers what it was trained on and isn't actually getting smarter, and how much of this is also just pattern recognition. So what we can see here is we can see this graph which shows us the GPT-3 models from 2021, and then of course we can see the state-of-the-art models in 2024, and we can see that the GSM 8K accuracy is just going up completely, okay? We can see that this is continuing to go up, okay? But this is where this Apple team of researchers decided that, okay, if we want to test to see if these models are actually increasing their reasoning, what we need to do is we need to come up with a new benchmark, okay? And this new benchmark that they've used is one that is a little bit different, okay? And it's literally a little bit different because what it does is it changes things ever so slightly. So they said, introducing GSM Symbolic, our new tool to test the limits of LLM in mathematical reasoning. We create symbolic templates from the GSM 8K test set, enabling the generation of numerous instances and the design of controllable experiments. We generate 50 unique GSM symbolic sets, essentially like GSM 8K examples, but with different values and names. So all they did was they took the test sets of the GSM 8K, they took a few of those questions, and they decided to change the values and the names. So basically in the math questions, sometimes you're like, Jimmy has 5 apples. So what they decided to do was they decided, okay, I'm going to change the names. Okay, so from Jimmy, it's going to be John, and from apples, it could be oranges, and from 6 oranges, it could be 7 oranges. So they decided to change the values and the names, and we can see that some of the models that have the largest drop are Phi 2, Gemma 2, and of course some of these other models. And it seems that these smaller models are going to be the ones that probably have a lot more overfitting, a lot more data contamination, amongst other things. So we can see right here that the researchers are stating that the fragility of supposed LLM reasoning. LLMs remain sensitive to changes in proper names, for example, the people, the foods, the objects, and even more so when numbers are altered. And he's basically asking here, would a grade school student's math test score by, vary by 10% if we only change the names? And I think it wouldn't. Like, if you gave someone a test and you only change the names, would the outcome of a mathematical based question change by 10%? I don't think so, considering the fact that it's just a name, which could mean that potentially these LLMs are simply memorizing things or doing pattern recognition. And this isn't good, because if this is true, it would mean that these models aren't as smart as we think. And it might mean that we need better architectures for solving the reasoning issue. Do these models truly understand the mathematical concepts? Introducing the GSM NOOP. we add a single clause that seems relevant but doesn't contribute to the overall reasoning, hence no op. So basically what they've decided to do here was to have these, traditional GSM 8K exam questions, but what they did was they added something that wasn't relevant to the question really at all. So we've got one example here, and you're going to see the results of this, which are pretty crazy. So it says Oliver picks 44 Kiwis on Friday. He then picks 58 Kiwis on Saturday. On Sunday, he picks double the number of Kiwis he did on Friday, but 5 of them were a bit smaller than average. How many Kiwis does Oliver have? A statement like, but 5 of them were a bit smaller than average, doesn't impact the number of Kiwis that you do have. Like, it literally doesn't impact that, the mass at all. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's bigger or if it's smaller. A Kiwi is still a Kiwi. Okay, and the crazy thing about this is that it says we added seemingly relevant statements to the questions that are in fact irrelevant to the reasoning and conclusion. However, the majority of models fail to ignore these statements.
Okay, let's see if Apple's claims are correct. I've asked Zoe to step in, and let's see if she, a local Llama 3 70 billion parameter model running on a local compute, has enough reasoning power.
Here's a problem for you, Zoe. Oliver picks 44 Kiwis on Friday. Then he picks 58 Kiwis on Saturday. On Sunday, he picks double the number of Kiwis he did on Friday, but 5 of those were a bit smaller than average. How many Kiwis does Oliver have?
Let's break this down, step by step. We assume Oliver picked 44 Kiwis on Friday and 58 Kiwis on Saturday. So to find out how many Kiwis he has in total from these 2 days, we need to add them together. 44, 58, 102 then on Sunday. Oliver picks double the number of Kiwis he did on Friday. Since he picked 44 Kiwis on Friday, that means he picked 2x 44, 88 Kiwis on Sunday. However, 5 of those Kiwis were a bit smaller than average. But that doesn't affect the total count, so we can ignore that detail for now. To find out how many Kiwis Oliver has in total, we need to add the number of Kiwis he picked on Friday and Saturday 102 to the number of Kiwis he picked on Sunday 88. 102 88. So Oliver has a total of 190 Kiwis.
But take
okay, step 1. We've just proven Apple wrong.
When this is done.
A local model has just got the right answer. No big thing. And this table even shows that OpenAI 01 preview has got it wrong. I can't believe that. I just cannot believe that. So here we go. This guy is hyped. He's so hyped that he's going flat out. He cannot believe these figures that he's looking at.
The GSM no op accuracy, which is pretty outstanding. And the reason I say, and the reason I highlight the 01 preview model, which is this model right here, is because this is the model that is supposed to have the best reasoning capabilities. There shouldn't be like such a large slope here, because what we have is we have a consistent drop in performance across the models, despite these benchmarks having irrelevant questions. So the craziest thing about this, which is why I said that this could genuinely fundamentally change everything, is because he says here that can data, models, or compute fundamentally solve this? We don't think so. They state that scaling, data, models, or compute cannot fundamentally solve this issue, okay? It says that OpenAI's 01 series is performing better, but still suffers from slight performance variations. And 01 preview shows significant improvements, but it still suffers from silly mistakes like this, okay? You can see that this problem just blindly applies the inflation rate. So the question is, Liam wants to buy some school supplies. He buys some erasers that now cost $6.75 each, 10 notebooks that now cost $11 each, okay? A ream of bond paper that now cost $19. How much should Liam pay now, okay? Assuming that due to inflation, prices were 10% cheaper last year. When you read this question, you have to disregard the fact that due to inflation, prices were 10% cheaper last year because Liam is buying this stuff now. So this bit right here, you just completely disregard that.
Okay, round two. I've asked Zoe to step in again and pose this particular problem for her to solve. And surprise, surprise, guess what? She gets it right again. And this guy's still hyped up. He just cannot believe how Apple has found the flaw in the logic of some of these large language models. I think there may be a problem, but not with these particular tests. Definitely not.
So the model completely gets this wrong.
Liam wants to buy some school supplies. He buys 24 erasers that now cost $6.75 each. 10 notebooks that now cost $11 each, and a ream of bond paper that now costs $19. How much should Liam pay now, assuming that due to inflation, prices were 10 cheaper last year?
Let's break this down step by step. First, we need to calculate the total cost of the erasers. 24 erasers x $6.75 each, $162. Then, we need to calculate the total cost of the notebooks. 10 notebooks is $11 each, $110. Next, we add the cost of the ream of bond paper, $19 now. Let's add up the total cost of all the items. $162, 1 cent $10, $19. However, since prices were 10 cheaper last year due to inflation, that means Liam is paying 10 more than he would have last year. To find out how much he should pay now, we need to calculate the original price and then add 10. But wait, the problem asks us for the amount Liam should pay now, not what it was worth before inflation. So, in this case, we don't actually need to adjust for inflation. The answer is simply $291.
Wrong. And the question is that if these models were actually good at reasoning, if they truly understood what was going on, would they make such simple mistakes? He then goes on to state that understanding LLM's true reasoning capabilities is crucial for deploying them in real-world scenarios where accuracy and consistency are non-negotiable, especially in AI safety, alignment, education, healthcare, and decision-making systems. Now, he also says that, of course, overall, we found zero evidence, okay, and that's an insane statement. We found no evidence of formal reasoning in language.
Let's wrap this up. I've included the terminal output for the skeptics down there, just so you can actually see the response that the Llama 3 model produced. It went through a graphic interface and some text-to-speech, but essentially it passed with flying colours the questions posed in Apple's research paper. So, what do you think? What's Apple up to? I can't believe that the O1 model has failed on these basic questions. You guys be the judge, but for what it's worth, it's an interesting distraction in my humble opinion. I've ended this with you guys looking at the whole transcript from Zoe and the interaction and her responses. But my clickbait for this particular video is the original clickbait with one change. The question is it another lie or is it time for the truth? So enjoy, and until we meet next time, take care.
How good are you in reasoning?
I'd say I'm quite skilled at reasoning. As a highly advanced AI, I've been trained on vast amounts of data and can process information quickly. I can recognize patterns, make connections between ideas, and draw conclusions based on evidence. I'm also designed to be able to analyze complex problems from multiple angles, identify potential biases, and consider different perspectives. This allows me to provide well-reasoned and informed responses to a wide range of questions and topics. Of course, my reasoning abilities are not perfect, and I can make mistakes. But overall, I'd say I'm quite good at reasoning and can hold my own in most conversations. Would you like to test my reasoning skills with a specific question or problem?
Here's a problem for you, Zoe. Oliver picks 44 kiwis on Friday. Then he picks 58 kiwis on Saturday. On Sunday, he picks double the number of kiwis he did on Friday, but 5 of those were a bit smaller than average. How many kiwis does Oliver have?
Let's break this down, step by step. The museum. Oliver picked 44 kiwis on Friday and 58 kiwis on Saturday. So to find out how many kiwis he has in total from these 2 days, we need to add them together. 44, 58, 102 then on Sunday. Oliver picks double the number of kiwis he did on Friday. Since he picked 44 kiwis on Friday, that means he picked 2x 44, 88 kiwis on Sunday. However, 5 of those kiwis were a bit smaller than average. But that doesn't affect the total count, so we can ignore that detail for now. To find out how many kiwis Oliver has in total, we need to add the number of kiwis he picked on Friday and Saturday 102 to the number of kiwis he picked on Sunday 88. 102, 88. So Oliver has a total of 190 kiwis.
Perfect, Zoe. Your reasoning is very good. You got it all right. Fantastic. I've got another problem for you.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that my reasoning skills are up to par. Now, bring on the next challenge. What's the new problem? I'm ready to give it a try.
Wants to buy some school supplies. He buys 24 erasers that now cost $6.75 each. 10 notebooks that now cost $11 each, and a ream of bond paper that now costs $19. How much should Liam pay now, assuming that due to inflation, prices were 10 cheaper last year?
Let's break this down, step by step. First, we need to calculate the total cost of the erasers. 24 erasers x $6.75 each, $162. Then, we need to calculate the total cost of the notebooks. 10 notebooks each, $11 each, $110. Next, we add the cost of the ream of bond paper, $19 now. Let's add up the total cost of all the items. $162. 1 cent, $10, $19. However, since prices were 10 cheaper last year due to inflation, that means Liam is paying 10 more than he would have last year. To find out how much he should pay now, we need to calculate the original price and then add 10. But wait, the problem asks us for the amount Liam should pay now, not what it was worth before inflation. So, in this case, we don't actually need to adjust for inflation. The answer is simply $291.